according to me. In the current times, everybody requires IT. It has become necessarily survival skill. I mean, it's like driving. Everybody should know how to drive. But everybody should not become a driver leaving all other professions aside. In 1942, there was a Quit India movement. They call it Quit India 2.0. What they mean is literally to quit India and settle overseas, working for them. Now, when you talk to youngsters, why are you doing it? They say, here we can't go on fighting the system to make our way, even for survival. However, there is one question. Suppose your neighbor has a better furnished house. Do you go and live in your neighbor's house? It's your bloody job to improve your house, isn't it? Bschool culture, they are going by money calculation in everything. They work by what I call as Excel sheet vision. They drive through the dashboard. So they will have a laptop in front of them with some indications, with some facts and figures or graphs which are flashing. Based on that, they will drive the organization. Now tell me, can a driver drive through dashboard? It is as bad as driving through the rear view mirror. Driving through the dashboard is not the thing. You have to know first of all where to go. Hello friends, I am Avinash Khare, your host, and I welcome you to this series, Technocrat Talks. In this series, we will be dwelling on our blind spots which have shackled our thinking and which have preconditioned our perceptions into a certain template. We have been suffering because of that. This we are doing through application of engineering sense and cold logic. Welcome to this analytical discussion. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe. Please press the bell icon to get the notifications. If you like the talk, please like it and share it with your friends, so that we increase the community of like-minded, curious minds to take the movement forward. Without much ado, let us start today's talk.
How do you think the emphasis on IT has impacted the growth of other technologies in India?
Well, what cricket has done to all other sports in India is something similar what IT has done to all other fields of technology. You see, ever since the cricket mania has caught up, we have ignored communicating, talking, taking interest in all other sports. Something similar has happened in IT also. The moment IT started and all other branches of technology have taken a backseat and people graduates from all other areas of expertise and other technologies have started migrating towards IT. Now there is nothing wrong in going for IT, according to me. In the current times, everybody requires IT. It has become necessarily survival skill. I mean, it's like driving. Everybody should know how to drive a car, how to drive a two-wheeler. It's one thing that yes, everybody should know driving, but everybody should not become a driver leaving all other professions aside. But sadly, that is what is happening in engineering. That grads from all other branches are giving up their domains and starting afresh doing coding in IT. And what for? Are they getting premium job there, very cerebral job there, or high quality job there, something which will give them feathers in their cap? No. They are getting low end job and they are getting it because they are doing it cheaper than anybody else. So they are doing engineering actually has no significance, it just goes out of the window. They start in a new domain altogether, forgetting engineering completely. And whatever they are doing could be done by anybody else. It does not require an engineer to do that. So that is the colossal waste. On one hand, we are teaching them those technologies, teaching them with so much of passion, with so much of in-depth technology, and they also join the institutions with so much competition and all, only to throw it out one day. And the same thing happens that Suppose you have somebody who is intrinsically interested in engineering or physics, and that is why he has come to engineering. So obviously, a topper, for example, a person who is excelling in academics, would have a lot of passion attached to whatever he is doing. Okay, so he would have put in a lot of heart in studying the concepts of engineering, the various branches of engineering, the various problems of engineering. And after passing out, he suddenly says that, okay, forget it. This is not leading me anywhere in the career. So I will instead learn coding and I will go into IT. And IT industry is picking them up en masse from their classroom in campuses to take them at entry level and to throw them shortly afterwards. After they become somewhat senior, 5 years old, or then they find that their emoluments have risen too much and they are no longer viable or affordable for the company. So they get pink slip also soon after. Now this is the game in which we are all trapped. The technocrats get trapped, they get lured, and only to be neither here nor there.
Do you believe that the increasing number of engineering students gravitating towards IT is a cause of concern?
Yeah. See, professors know that their students are not interested in the subject they are being taught. They are doing it only for the sake of examination. Okay. And as soon as the exams are over, they forget everything and they go elsewhere. And they do something different. Now, what interest professors would also have left to teach them with great passion and great things. So then they will kind of also say that, okay, it's all in the game. So, okay, this is the examination. This is the content. This is your syllabus. Do it. Give your exam. And out you go from here. As far as technical teaching is concerned, the students are expected to be at best as good as their teachers after learning. But the teachers themselves have had no industrial exposure. So what kind of practical problems they can really bring to the table is a question. So what they end up teaching is all bookish things. Lot of mathematics, lot of theory, but very little of practical wisdom. Because they have themselves never done much practically. They have not been exposed to industry environment. They have not had an experience of why things work and why they don't work and what to make it work. What is to be done to make things work. Now, even in the disciplines, I always say in industry, an R&D person and a designer actually knows how the machine works and how it ought to work. Right? A maintenance man has to only know how it doesn't work. Yeah? And how to make it work. So it becomes like a doctor's approach. You don't know how the body works. You only know why the problem comes and what is to be done to solve the problem, what is to be done to diagnose the problem. So that is where the domain ends. Right? So the depth in theory is lacking. The depth of practical application is lacking because people don't have exposure. Another problem is there, which is a real problem, that technology, the pace of change has become so fast that by the time faculties get trained in a new technology and they start teaching it, by the time their grads pass out, it has already become obsolete. So they say, sir, what do we do? How do we teach these fellows? Because whatever we teach is going to get obsolete by the time they come out. Okay. And it is a real problem. Things are changing so fast that you can't be actually teaching things like a recipe. Now there are trainings which are called as, within quotes, recipe type of training. That okay, you do this and you will prepare your dish. Now unfortunately, technical education cannot be like this. Today the emphasis is shifting, and it is supposed to shift on developing creativity. So that whatever technology comes, The person is able to adapt. He has the aptitude, he has the mindset to catch up and do something in a different domain. Switching domain has become a commonplace. So nowadays we are looking for people who know a little bit of artificial intelligence, little bit of IT, little bit of machine learning, of course little bit of machine production technology, and sometimes also little bit of diagnostics, say biomedical instrumentation. So a mix of all this, and you may find guys who are switching these domains within their career. So you can't be like predestining yourself that okay, this is my domain, so this is what I learn and this is what I do. Things are no longer as simple as that. The focus has to be on building concepts, building attitude, building mindset. And yes, knowledge can be readily downloaded very fast if one knows from where to look for it and how to use it. It becomes a very powerful thing. So domains can be switched very easily, relatively easily nowadays.
What are your thoughts on the annual exodus of brilliant technical grads pursuing higher education and jobs overseas?
Well, the exodus overseas is primarily aimed at staying there and taking a citizenship, and because the quality of life is much better as compared to here. Not that there are problems here, there are great problems here. The problem is that life is much easier. For whatever you earn there, you can live much better life there. And you don't have to like stand in long queues as you see here. You don't have to bother things too much about doing things. The way you do business, the way you do your job is much simpler. That's why people gravitate towards overseas. Doing PG is the easiest thing to do for going abroad, because for one it is easier to get admission relatively, and after a while you get some financial support also, some financial assistantship, research assistantship. And then if somebody stays there for long enough and does PhD, he or she can as well get a green card and stay on there. So that is why people go there. Very few people actually go with a mind of coming back. And those who come back face a problem that MS done overseas will be treated at par with MTech done from India. So organizations will not give you additional salary benefits or level just because you are returning, right? And another fact of life is there that those who have stayed there and lived there for a while, they find coming back to India simply unaffordable, because with whatever salary they get there, in equivalent salary here they can't have that same life. You see the living index in big cities like Bangalore and Pune and Hyderabad. Considering all the expenses, children going to school and all that put together, they find that it does not even out. They have to compromise a lot if they want to come back. So that's the reason they are not able to come back even if they want. And many of them don't want also. That is another matter. Right? So that's the reason why they are going, and of course they don't find any utilization for their technical talent in India. So brain drain is better than brain down the drain. So they prefer to go down, not down the drain, they go there and utilize their talent usefully for somebody at least.
How can India create more leadership positions in technology that do not solely rely on overseas entry routes?
Now you have to have your own belief system that whatever you are teaching in our institutes is at least at par with what is being taught overseas. The problem is we are having self-doubt. We have good institutions where people can do MTech and PhD But when it comes to recruiting for top R&D positions, people still look outward. They look from some returning from overseas because they believe that that person may be having better competence, better exposure as compared to what we have. And partly it is true also because even in research organizations, there is a severe crunch of funding, there is a big bureaucracy, there is a delay in everything, and the quality of technology access that we have is limited. And the same is true for Indian industry also. Indian industry is buying, within quotes, proven technology, means older technology at cheaper rate. So that is what would be available to somebody to play around with and learn. So obviously the person would not have had exposure to the latest in technology, not the premium features in technology that are coming. In 1942, there was a Quit India movement. The youngsters talk the same language. They call it Quit India 2.0. But what they mean is literally to quit India and settle overseas. Okay. And working for them. Now, when you talk to youngsters, why are you doing it? They say, here we can't go on fighting the system. Here, if you have to do it, we have to fight the system to make our way, even for survival. There things are much more conducive. That's why we go there, so that we don't waste our energy and time in fighting the system. We start from a higher level and we progress much more there, hopefully. However, there is one question that is bugging, that suppose your neighbor has a better furnished house. Do you go and live in your neighbor's house? It's your bloody job to improve your house, isn't it? So they should be coming and staying here and improving things here. If things are bad here, who is going to improve it? Okay. Some supernatural power is not going to come and improve things for you here. We have to only slog and improve things here. So for that, if we have to sacrifice, so be it. Okay. At least next generation will benefit after that. So that has to be the approach which has to be taken by people. Instead of just finding the easy way out, path of least resistance, wherever things are better, you go there. Right? There is some moral responsibility, there is some patriotism, there is some, some things which you have to do for your country. Those things cannot be wished away and should not be.
What is your opinion on the impact of Bschool culture on technology development in India?
See, Bschool culture brings in some elements in the working. First of all, they are going by money calculation in everything. So with that, they find that yes, supply chain management is a better virtue than developing technology in-house. So instinctively, they will go for an option where they have to outsource things rather than developing things. That is problem number one. Problem number two, under cost optimization, they will clip all the frills. By frills, I am meaning technology development areas which are not immediately productive, which are not immediately giving returns. They will have a short-term approach, short-term profiteering approach. They will not think long-term or not think strategic. Okay, that is another point. Third point is that they work by what I call as Excel sheet vision. They drive through the dashboard. So they will have a laptop in front of them with some indications, with some facts and figures or graphs which are flashing. Based on that, they will drive the organization. Now tell me, can a driver drive through dashboard? It is as bad as driving through the rear view mirror. Driving through the dashboard is not the thing. You have to know first of all where to go. Okay, and how to drive. Now meters you look once in a while just to see how much petrol is there and what kind of mileage your vehicle is giving. But you can't be always looking at that and then driving. As you may never reach where you are supposed to reach if you do dashboard driving. So they have a terrible tendency of dashboard driving. So everything is Excel sheet parameters. They hit all others with Excel sheet numbers, all the targets and all. are numbers for them, numbers, numbers and numbers. Okay. How somebody would do it, what is the difficulty level, how somebody would have achieved it. And if there are, let us say, 10 targets, what is the interrelation, how achieving one target will affect the other targets. That cross correlation is also there. You have emphasis, more increased emphasis on safety, probably you affect productivity, probably you affect cost. You suddenly tighten quality, maybe your delivery suffers, your cost also suffers, there are more rejections. You tighten the cost, maybe everything else suffers, quality, cost, moral, delivery, everything. So all these targets are not independent, they are interdependent. Okay. Now B-school boys do not recognize that things are interrelated. So in large organizations, suppose there are 5 managers, each one is given one target and they keep fighting each other to achieve their KPIs. As a result, there is a lot of activity but little progress. They are all spot jogging, but organization stays where it was. So, and another problem is that yes, because HR managers are more comfortable in assessing what the MBAs do, they find themselves very difficult to compare a technocrat's performance. Therefore, technocrats have a tendency to bear the brunt of any business downturn or anything like that. Though technocrats are in no way responsible for business downturn, by the way. If somebody's wrong decision at higher level which may have resulted into debacles. But then those who get flogged are the ones who are the working level people in technology. You go to any international expo where technology is showcased nowadays. You find new technology and innovations being reported mostly from Germany, Italy, Japan, Spain, France to some extent, China, and surprisingly Turkey. Of course, India is not much there anyway on international scale. But so also UK has almost vanished from the map of technology. Also US, Canada, Australia. Now if you analyze, these are the countries where B-school culture is thriving in a bigger way. So the corollary is that wherever B-school culture catches the industry, technology takes a backseat. And then they start outsourcing things, then they start cutting corners and like fighting for the cost, undercutting, and all those things start. The so-called things which affect the business directly in short term. But adherence to systems, adherence to standards of technology, building the basic blocks of technology to make a complete system. All these things are happening in the countries that I said. But here the culture is different. In these countries, you can't switch jobs and get more money. In these countries, people don't switch jobs, as a matter of fact. Organizations are fairly flat. There is no tall hierarchy. And technocrats do get as much respect as any others in the society.
How can the Indian education system ensure that students are not sacrificing their parent domains for IT?
Now, academics wise, they don't do much of course, nowadays they are starting teaching computers right in the school, primary school also. So, as I said, yes, it is like driving, it is like cycling, which everybody should know. It's like swimming and cycling, which everybody should know anyway. So, I'm not against IT being taught in schools and colleges. Let it be taught because it is required. It is required in all the domains to some extent. So, they should do it, but they should also have interest in their own core domain. They should have some passion in their core domain. That is why they should be going there. Okay. The anomaly is that they take it as a via media to come to engineering, do core technologies for graduation and then migrate somewhere else. Now, if you had to migrate somewhere else, why did you come to engineering? You can go directly also. No? So, one way is to make that direct route available. so that you don't have to unnecessarily block a seat in engineering and deprive somebody else and increase competition, within quotes, competition for entry in technology courses. Let the few who are interested in technology get free access to technology courses. Okay. Instead of having to compete a JEE and with what is the rejection rate there. So that can happen either that okay, whatever you want to do, you directly go there. You want to do hotel management, don't come through BTech. You go to hotel management directly. So one is making the alternative routes available and making it very clear that okay, everybody doesn't have to necessarily go through engineering education. But those who come through engineering education, better do engineering. Okay, things should be business-like. And government having subsidized engineering education in certain institutes has every right to ask them and expect that they do justice to the investment which has been done towards their education. Okay, why government is letting them go easily, so cheaply after they pass out? There are no strings attached. They are allowed to go anywhere. Now, this kind of freedom is counterproductive to the interest of nation. Right? This free market thing that I will do whatever I want to do is not for the subsidized education. Right? So, there is every logic in expecting that those guys do engineering after they pass out.
What can the industry do to bring more talent equilibrium across different technologies, not just IT? Is there even a chance, or are we too late?
No, basically it is as simple as that. If a graduate sees that there is equal potential of rise everywhere, then he or she will choose according to his inherent interest. That is the healthiest possible thing. That you don't change your intrinsic interest because of the emoluments that you get. Right? You don't go by law of gravitation, where I get more money, I will go there. Right? So, if you bring some parity in various avenues, then everybody is free to take the path he or she has to take according to their interest. Yes. So, bringing parity is the only thing. Now, the thing is, we conveniently leave things to market. Okay, let the market decide your salary level. If you take that approach, then market is largely controlled by marketing people, MBAs. So obviously that technocrats will not get a deal they deserve to get. Right? So that is where at policy level governments have to pitch in and make sure that there are comparable opportunities and there are comparable career progression profiles available in all the domains. Because lopsided growth is in no nation's long-term interest. I mean, it's not desirable that 90% of your population should go only in IT, whatever IT may be, right?
Do you think the perception of those who did not go abroad for higher education being deemed as unworthy or mediocre is fair?
Society tends to think like that because it is a law of mass action. If all the bright boys are going abroad and somebody has not gone or has not been able to go, it is deemed that he or she has been rejected there. Because he or she has been below par, that is why he or she has not gone. So that stigma gets attached by default. That while all other classmates have gone, why he has not gone? Okay, probably he is below par. So from that point onwards, everybody in society and even his organization starts looking at him like that. Yeah. And this fellow is unworthy, probably. That's why he has not been able to go. Why he is still doing engineering? He has not gone to MBA. Probably he has not got admission to MBA. He is not qualified. So that stigma comes by default. Because everybody is doing it and you are not doing it, so you must be at fault.
What can India learn from countries like Germany, Italy, Spain, China, and Turkey when it comes to technology development?
When it comes to technology development, first of all, people pursue their intrinsic interest. They do the job which they want to do. They don't select a job based on career progression or money, because money is almost same everywhere. So if that be the case, then yes, you can always select what you like to do. So they like to do things and they do those things which suit them. So they are comfortable in the job and people are comfortable with them, and there is a teamwork. They don't artificially compare an apple with a banana in performance. Like they don't want to compare a marketing manager with a maintenance man. Probably the skill sets are different, and how you rate, how you compare is also anybody's guess, right? So they are fairly comfortable doing what they do. That is why they do, and that's why they succeed. And then there is a persistent support. There is an ecosystem to support them and take care of them. That doubt is not lurking in their mind that suppose tomorrow the organization throws me out, what do I do? That kind of fear or doubt they never have. Whereas in India, we don't have any social support system. If you are in a private sector and you are out of job, then you had it. So this kind of social support, recognition, comfort level, conducive to good working, promotes the working by passion. Whereas in India, we work by compulsion. What is the target? What is the achievable? You are here, you have to reach here, per force. Ecosystem comprises of course, one is the education system, the quality of education system, the practicality of education system. You don't teach things that they don't need. You teach things that they will require. Those will be really useful. Number one. The education system is calibrated to the industry. It works hand in hand with industry. You know, in these countries, most of the design projects for industry are actually undertaken by universities. Many industries do not have their own design centers, so to say. They outsource the work to industry, to academia. So actually academia, their work in hand in hand with the industry. So what they teach and what is done in the industry is same. There is no big mismatch there. So whatever is taught and whatever is used, it is directly, there is a connectivity. So as a result, when the grad pass outs there, he or she is just plug and play. You don't need further training. You just put the fellow and he starts performing from day one, as we wish here. But we don't have that kind of connectivity. Instead, we have a big quantum jump to be made from industry to academia. Right? So there is a big gap and that has to be caught up. So we have to make some efforts to train the people, bring them, orient them to the industry working, which means in other ways you forget everything that you have learned in college, learn this afresh. Now this kind of thing doesn't happen there. Plus there is social recognition. Nobody is judging anybody based on the designation and based on the salary that one gets, because everybody gets similar salary. And designations are very few and they don't matter much. Now here we have tall hierarchy, we have so many designations, we expect promotion every 3 years, 2 years. Now all those things are coming into the reckoning and comparison when you see the career trajectory of different individuals. So it unnecessarily causes a demoralizing effect. Plus most of us being from middle class have a terrible tendency to compare with your peers and get paranoid if there is a delta change between you and somebody else. And I have seen people getting jittery that their classmate has got a pack of visiting card he has not got in the company that he has joined. Small things, but then people take it seriously.
How do you think the pursuit of technology development in India can be better supported and encouraged?
Encouraged, yeah. See, first of all, there has to be, when there is a choice of outsourcing and developing in-house, there should be some incentive for developing in-house. Number one. Because it is a fight of unequals. They are not at same level. Development requires this much effort. Importing requires only so much effort. So somewhere you have to, like through tariff or whatever, bring in some balance so that they are at par, they come at par. So that people consider development as a serious opportunity and a possibility of doing it. Otherwise, they will jump to the easiest thing and do that and get away with that. Secondly, we say make in India, but what about the depth of make in India? And depth of make in India means what is the value add, indigenous value add in whatever is being manufactured. Instead of taking, say, turnover as a measure of work for any organization, you have to see value add as the quantum of work which has been done by the organization. The rest has been outsourced anyway. So whatever taxation benefits, etc., have to happen, have to be based on value add. Right? Now, if you compare that yardstick, yes, then probably the companies will find that it is more attractive to do things in-house. And then they have to go in for conducive ecosystem building and start doing things in-house in a bigger way and develop local ecosystem around it to support it, system of local suppliers, who will feed. Otherwise, it is a convenient option to just buy the whole thing. Well, with this, we have come to the end of today's talk. Please take this movement forward. Please share it with your friends. Open Mind is an engineer's workshop, and our goal is to engineer our future. Please press the bell icon to get further notifications. Please like if you have liked the talk, and please do let us have your feedback, your ideas, your comments, your suggestions. Hope to see you in the next talk, Technocrat Talks. Till then, be happy, enjoy. See you next time. Bye-bye.